But I'll be very brief for this because, one, I want to advise people, not my followers. It is at your discretion if you want to side with SCNC or whatever. But SCNC activist Sheikh Capo went online and told me and called my name in this video saying I'm against his views. Of course, I'm against anything SCNC. Of course, I'm against anything that brings division to people's lives. I'm against anything that brings division in Cameroon. Cameroon was already one. Cameroon is one. Even before we were colonized, we were one. Even after we were colonized, we were still reunited as one, although it was not signed. I am for one Cameroon. I don't stand and I will never ever support anything SCNC. SCNC is a self-determination group in Cameroon that is even illegal in the first place, according to the law. It is illegal. They seek self-determination, and like any other state in the world, like any other state, they have the right to sovereignty. There are two things in international human rights laws that always conflict. The first one is the right to sovereignty, and the second one is the right to self-determination. These two are always at variance. The second thing that always conflicts is cultural relativism and human rights. So in Cameroon, Biya has every right. Tell your brother, simply call your family. Call your family. I called mine, I told them they have to stay at home. Call your own family and say, please stay at home. That's all. That's all. They want the country to divide. They have simply seen a good cause made by the lawyer and they are infiltrating now to bring it to the table. Because they know when the minister invites them in Yaoundé, they will now bring in the SCNC thing. No! No, please, Mr. Biya, my own president, my good president, please be watchful about this. Be watchful. The opposition leaders as well should be watchful. The teachers should also be watchful. The lawyers should be watchful. People are listening to you. You put up a very good cause, which I support. Because as a citizen, I support. I've gone through marginalization and all the rest. I side with you, the lawyers and teachers, in your peaceful strike. I completely side with you. In fact, you're doing a great job. I've been supporting and promoting you. And I also completely support the government, the effort the government has been doing to bring to the dialogue table. It is not enough. Please, Mr. President, if you're listening to me, it is not enough. Just simply put it at a high-level dialogue table. Don't end it with the ministers. You're doing a good job, the government. You tried your best last week to bring people together to dialogue. Of course. But please, we want more. Like Oliver Twist, please, we want more. Please, please, Mr. President, listen to us. Dialogue with us. We want peace. The people who are fighting on the streets don't represent us. I distance myself from them. Please, if you're watching me, also distance yourself from them. Distance yourself from them. The people who are fighting on the streets, they are not fighting for the good of the people. If you're fighting for the good of the people, don't use violence. If you're fighting for the good of the people, of Cameroonians, of Anglophone Cameroonians, don't resort to violence. Simply stay at home or you just walk. Mothers are there carrying their babies and going to the market and they are suffering from tear gas canisters or whatever, blown up grenades and whatever because of some stupid boys who are on the street using violence. I will not even say stupid because they are ignorant. They are ignorant boys who have been manipulated by some SCNC activists. Please, don't listen to this SCNC. Please don't listen to them. I'm a free thinker. I'm a free thinker. I'm a good public speaker. I will come online, I will tell you the truth. And nothing but the truth. If I'm going to Cameroon in December or in January or in February or whatever, is that anybody's business? Cameroon, the president loves, when I go there, the police, I sit with them and I drink my beer. I drink my wine and whiskey and we joke, we crack jokes. Because Cameroon is friendly. People paint a bad image about Cameroon that they'll arrest you. Have they arrested all those newspapers? See the headlines in newspapers in Cameroon. Have they arrested them? Have they closed down newspapers? No. People give bad impression just to make Cameroon divide. Cameroon, they don't arrest people. They don't. They arrest you when they pose a security threat. Like those SCNC people, they pose security threats. If you're writing on Facebook and doing a thing simply, are you posing any security threat? Simply give solutions to what you're saying. If I see something, the roads are bad, I say, oh, the roads are bad, please tar those roads. Is that a bad thing? That is my civic right. That is my civic right. If I see the police clamping down on protesters, I say, oh no, please, police, we pay our taxes so that you are earning a salary, not to clamp down on innocent protesters, on armed protesters. Please, don't do that. Is that a bad thing? No, that's a good thing. If I see corruption taking place in the Ministry of Public Works, I say, no, please, that thing is corrupt. Stop it. It's not good. You're bringing the image of Cameroon down and you're ranking us very high on the Transparency International Index. Please stop it. Is that a bad thing? No, that is a good thing. In Cameroon, every citizen should have the right to express his views and give solutions. That's why I call myself a solution-oriented critic.
Tapang Ivo, Tanku, he don't go out, he don't release a very sensitive information out of a phone conversation where I get them for ye. I yes, he don't publish the audio way record them for the phone call where they give very sensitive information about our diplomatic engagement. And those type of information, once they be for public, then get strong ramification because there are just things that you don't talk on social media. There are many things that are going on with other Ambazonian leaders that I know during the negotiation and interaction with Cameroon and other state parties that I am very aware that I've been briefed. They know that I know, but we have never gone to tell this type of things in the public because you must give diplomatic space a chance for them to work. You must. It is just how it works. Nobody who is sensible would release specific details of intelligence that are active in diplomacy like Tapang Ivo did. But it does not surprise me because Tapang Ivo, I should tell every Ambazonian, it is somebody that I respect. He is a personal friend of mine. When I say personal, that means we go a long way. We know our families, we know our girlfriends, we know the things we do and all this type of things. So we are very personal. We engage in that level. And this is a betrayer because he didn't just betray me. He has betrayed the struggle by putting out information that have direct ramification, identify people in state parties that are involved in our diplomatic efforts in Ambazonia. But I must tell this to the Ambazonia people to define who is Tapang Ivo. When I was working with Ayabacho and the Egg of Sea, we know that Tapang Ivo had received money for La Republique. We know that he was working for La Republique. That was what we had come to conclusion with. And that is always appear in our debates, and there is no need for me to be revealing those debates for respect of those people that I have relationship with them in the ADF. When we were fighting before they wanted to kill General Efang in Bui, Tapang Ivo was going out there specifically to provoke the boys in Bui Warrior to kill General Efang and the other ADF. He was going out there telling the Bui Warrior soldiers and the public that the ADF have sent General Efang to go and kill Chacha, when he knows that there was no decision made by the ADF for General Efang to kill Chacha, and Efang was simply going there with the boys in the Labo camp to go and collect a weapon. And for some mission, they might have had some mission to kill people, but that was never something that the cabinet in the ADF has discussed. It was never the intention of General Efang to kill Chacha. He was instigating infighting. He has always been instigating infighting. When we're negotiating in Canada, there were a principal, an interlocutor within the Cameroon government that had specific information that nobody else had. That information appeared in one of the outing of Tapang Ivo that shows that he has certain contacts that are not regular, contacts that were very important to the Paul Biya's regime as they were engaging in Canada. So there are many, many examples of Tapang, a boy that we all know have struggled in front of us, and suddenly he is coming from a person that will require money to buy a laptop from the Egg of Sea, managing his divorce with his wife, eventually out of a sudden, boom, buying a land and building a house. We all know how those things happen, but for sure we had that conclusion that based on Tapang Ivo's activity, he has received soya. That was the assumption we had in the ADF. And one of the things was that he called Ayabacho at one point when a Cameroon minister, I think I've released the conversation, a Cameroon minister had approached him about the possibility of receiving bribe. And he did not put this information publicly or discuss with people that were close to him, but he called Ayabacho and told Ayabacho that Ayabacho recorded the audio and that this minister of Cameroon have contacted him about bribe, which we interpreted Ayabacho himself get the impression like Tapang Ivo was asking him to find out his own flexibility to show him this line. So we know these things. When somebody's behavior is not normal, it is contrary to any logic, then the obvious is either he is stupid or he has been bribed. But we know that Tapang Ivo is not a stupid boy. And I want to define him so that Ambazonia should know what Tapang is, what he has said in this struggle, so that you can define him by his own conduct. But what Tapang did to release specific information which he could withhold about the British government in our effort to try to resolve this problem is despicable. But Ambazonians should know something. When we went to Canada, the Canadian government, after the first session, the ambassador to Cameroon, he pulled me aside together with the new ambassador of Canada and one rep who was working with the Commonwealth. They pulled me aside and have a 2 hours meeting, just me alone. And they congratulated me in front of the other members who were there and give our people a very important critical thinking. They told them, this, we congratulate you, Capo Daniel, for your defense of Ambazonian struggle integrity. It is because of the defense you have put out there in the international community for all the atrocities that has happened in Ambazonia that have earned you people this chance. And this chance in Canada was one in a lifetime chance the international community is giving you people. If you people mess this up, I can guarantee you there will be no any other chance for Ambazonia to have any negotiation, settlement, or have a say in how things will move forward. So these are the things that I've done for our country that our people should know. But I will play some audio for Tapang Ivo, make una understand who a Tapang Ivo be, and it will give una perspective on who we would deal with. Una listen for Tapang Ivo. This one na the first audio I go play am na one of the audio them in the beginning of this struggle. Una know say Tapang Ivo, just like Seseko Ayoktabi and many of our people, then when this struggle will start, we will all want to take and for we go get solution. But we get Ayabacho, we and Sheikh Kavi, they be already radicalized. They be the struggle for inject war. They be one for provoke war with Cameroon. No matter how we negotiate, and I get first-hand experience for this one, because the first big protest will be planned for Ambazonia when this strike be start. When I need John Fundi, it will be one of the idea. It will be on the 7th of January 2007, if my dates are not wrong. We will begin to get a massive all-out rally for our people and for demand federation, for demand equality. That protest be end up being cancelled. Why? Because Ayabacho be the only find way for recruit boy them, me then carry Ambazonian flag during those period, and where the La Republic be talk say it go be provoked, and they go consider one like a declaration of war, and they go kill people. So I want for just give una the background for what it be happen during those period them. But I want me gonna hear Tapang Ivo in his own words, so that me gonna know exactly who he be. Gonna listen.
For this, because one, I want to advise people, not my followers. It is at your discretion if you want to side with SCNC or whatever. But SCNC activist Sheikh Kiavo Milim went online and told me and called my name in this video saying I'm against his views. Of course, I'm against anything SCNC. Of course, I'm against anything that brings division to people's lives. I'm against anything that brings division in Cameroon. Cameroon was already one. Cameroon is one. Even before we were colonized, we were one. Even after we were colonized, we're still reunited as one, although it was not signed. I am for one Cameroon. I don't stand and I will never ever support anything SCNC. SCNC is a self-determination group in Cameroon that is even illegal in the first place. Like any other state, they have the right to sovereignty. Bia has every right. SCNC activists who are seeking to divide the country.
So, unadi hear Tapang Ivo in his own word, as early in this struggle, when our lawyer did be killed, our Peking did be killed, it make his position very clear. He stand for one Cameroon. He say Cameroon no go ever be divided. He even support Pobia a right. Say Pobia get a right for kill SCNC people them. Una hear he in his own word.
I'm against anything that brings division in Cameroon. Cameroon was already one. Cameroon is one. Even before we were colonized, we were one. Even after we were colonized, we're still reunited as one, although it was not signed. I am for one Cameroon. I don't stand and I will never ever support anything SCNC.
So, now the Tapang Ivo that in his own words them, make una know. And Tapang Ivo, he be not always they consider Ayabacho and a group with Sheikh Kavi who them as infiltrator them for this Ambazonian struggle, where it been a legitimate struggle, where I about show them according to ye, the one turn them into war when I think that way Cameroon be the waiter. When I listen.
Of course, I don't want a Cameroon where people are dividing themselves or want to seek independence. No, I don't. The lawyers put up a genuine strike because they identified every Cameroonian along one thing, the Anglophone problem, and not along SCNC or CPDM or SDF or whatever. No. If they brought in partisans or party whatever or groups or whatever, people could have backed out. People came to side with the lawyers and teachers because they accepted that Cameroon has a problem, the Anglophone problem. We are marginalized. So what is the solution? That we should simply come together, sit and dialogue and say, okay, Mr. Bia, please, let us try to see how we can do this. Let's try to see how, if you get one, I get one. If you get two, I get two, which is a good thing. Is that a bad thing? No, it's not a bad thing, right?
So, I want me gonna hear Uduna own voice, because the enemy is working very hard to torpedo any hope for peace. Our people are wicked, I tell you, Ambazonians. When I came up with this word, the wicked black man syndrome, it wasn't a joke. When I tell you people that Tapang Ivo is wicked and evil, our people are wicked and evil. The worst thing that can happen to Ambazonian is that he sees somebody else leading and taking solutions that will bring success to our people. Tapang Ivo's motivation, only God alone knows. But when somebody contradicts himself in logic without any logical explanation, the only thing is that you know his motivation. This is Tapang Ivo in his own words, and I want you to hear. Why will this boy be trying to instigate infighting in Ambazonia, trying to put one group against the other? Like I said, anybody that wants this war to continue indefinitely is either working with the Ferdinand Gongo's faction of La République du Cameroon government, with Atanji Paul, or is somebody who is so corrupt in their soul and drunk by power and envy and jealousy to even resolve the problem, because they want our people to continue to suffer unless they are the ones who bring the solution. Nevertheless, you shall know the truth for everybody. Like my friend in China always say, God will expose everybody in the Ambazonian struggle for our people, because we could have been in hell if, God forbid, we had just had independence without us knowing who we are as a people. Listen to Tapang Ivo. So this is how Tapang Ivo had seen the Ayabachus as infiltrators. Listen to him.
Just walk. When you see the policeman carry a bottle of water and give him, oh, boy, I bet you can drink, sir, master, you don't try. Right now, as of yesterday in Cameroon, there was a Boko Haram attack in the north. These are the police who are guarding us against Boko Haram. Now we are dividing the country, and these are the same useless SCNC activists wanting to divide the country. We are fighting Boko Haram in the north. People are there wanting violence on the streets. People are there. Look at my post. Most of them who come and say, no, they should go and fight. They should exercise. They should go and fight. Are mostly SCNC people. Not all SCNCs. I will not lump all SCNCs. There are some people with good hearts. There are some ones with very bad policies. What Tiabo War Milim writes is very bad. What he says is very bad. Don't send your brothers and sisters to go and fight. These people are sitting in the West. That's all. They want the country to divide. They have simply seen a good cause made by the lawyer, and they are infiltrating now to bring it to the table. Because they know when the minister invites them in Yaoundé, they would now bring in the SCNC thing. No, please, Mr. Bia, my own president, my good president, please be watchful about this. Be watchful.
So, now Tapang Ivo that in its own word. No be say some person they can misinterpret it, some person they can twist them like how they do them. I don't tell you, say for this struggle, the only way they always talk for Capo Daniel. Now either they don't go form some story, or they go twist my word, but this one na Tapang Ivo in his own word. Even when we be go negotiate for Canada, we will be negotiate with La République. It be get with the best and only opportunity to be get them for free ourselves. Guess who? It be the Sabotage that struggle along the line of the Atanji Port, the way they be do everything for stop the Canadian talk. The Tangan report them, they be the convinced La Republique du Cameroon say we Ambazonia them will no one for go for day, it no go ever succeed. And you get their own alliances and within our struggle way, despite all the evidence say they talk for Canada, it be been a true talk with Cameroon system they participate for day. Tapang Ivo, knowing all the truth, went out there to sabotage and put out messages that were sent to the Cameroon government to provoke them about what was going on. And in doing so, Tapang Ivo even betray how it see the Ambazonian struggle as a struggle for terrorism. Wanna listen for ye carefully.
The armed is not even part of the so-called conference. Yet, Ambazonians are running behind Canada with empty hands. Arms is not even part of the Canadian conference. Talk less of the Swiss conference that has been rolling for more than 2 months, for 2 years. Cameroon was not even part of it because Cameroon is not blinking. But we Ambazonians, we are the ones blinking. Each time they wave at us, we blink. Each time they wave, we blink. Stupid. Completely stupid. What are we afraid of? Are we afraid because Facebook labeled us terrorists? Who is Facebook? Facebook is a non-state actor, irrelevant to a point where it even changes its name to Meta. Facebook, some digital platform, I don't know how to substantiate it, calling you a terrorist and you're panicking. Maybe that's why you're rushing to Canada to prove a point that terrorists do negotiate. No, don't expect the aid of C to tender an apology for the people of Amazonia. It is a wrong move. It is completely a wrong move. If, for example, Sako was part of that Canadian conference, everyone will say, oh, Sako don't take money, Sako not sit man, Sako not this. Now is the egg of C. What should we say? Should I come and say, oh, no, it's a good thing? No, when it doesn't sound right in Tapang's ear, it is not right.
So, as they hawks them for the regime, they be the die, they the crisis Ambazonia, they don't get negotiation with the international community back and for Canada. Tapang Ivo be day out for sabotage them, for discourage them, for even provoke the Cameroon as they be talk say me being a secret talk, me them back out for that talk. In line with which we are Tanganji Paul and the Ferdinand Gongo them, they be all the witcham. CDN, when are the only NGO where the British government be invite them, time where they be chair for the Security Council. A genuine Ambazonian-based NGO way than they help we, or all Ambazonian group them for Ground Zero they know where to way CD and then be. Tapang Ivo, just like how we they are Tanganji Paul they go after them, he too, he do their dirty job. And I want me gonna no say people the way them be under the influence, they always be aligned with a Tanganji Paul. Believe me or not, any man way when I want for no people ready and compromise for this struggle, me when I see the how they go be in line with a Tanganji Paul in everything where they do them. Then you will know who is for Ambazonia and who is actually working for the enemy actively.
Websites of this CDN, they are stating that they are for dialogue. That is stand for dialogue and nothing but dialogue. These people clearly state dialogue. CD, the Coalition for Dialogue and Negotiation. Now, let me give you the two differences between dialogue and negotiation. Dialogue means that.
So, when I ask yourself, what will probably any logic person come to conclude? Tapang Ivo, who in the beginning was calling Ayabacho an infiltrator, and Sheikh Kavi, the scnc, as people want to divide the country, who wanted to fight the country, out of a sudden is against dialogue, is against negotiation, is going out to blackmail the CDN, is going out to blackmail negotiation that were genuine, that were internationally backed. Who is Tapang Ivo working for? His only job when he was working with the ADF as a spokesperson was to provoke and engineer infighting, doing everything that Tanganji Paul want us to do. Fight each other, show the world that we are caricature people who are primitive, reject all negotiation and just be like fools. The same as they are trying to do with our people on the ground. But the truth never lies. The truth is always there for every logical person to see. Even when they release Regina Mundi, how Tapang Ivo Biduno say they be receive money? how Tapang Ivo, if you do know, for can put those information for outside.
Strategies when I get prisoner, when I hold them on bail. When I catch one of those or two or this or three of those enablers, the one where they come out diaspora where they never ever talk for the revolution, but they feel say they feel run business inside Amazonia for war. When I catch them, they go pay 2 million francs before they.
So now Tapang Ivo, that a PhD holder, encouraging Amazonian soldiers to kidnap diaspora for 2 million francs each. At the time when I was fighting against kidnapping, La République du Cameroon was promoting kidnapping. As a matter of fact, the soldiers who were under the influence of La République in Ground Zero, they were sent to kidnap their own quarter heads, kidnap prominent people. La République was doing all these things. Tapang Ivo always aligned with what the enemy is doing on the basis of intelligence on the ground. What will motivate somebody to ask our soldiers to kidnap? What will motivate somebody to instigate infighting? What will instigate somebody to sabotage genuine negotiation? What of all will instigate Tapang Ivo to spill and make it a public issue Amazonian international support based on a very sensitive conversation I had with him? I will leave that to you, but like they say, a man is defined by his character, his conduct. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh.
The fact that I speak against the AGOC's wrong move, premature ejaculation when the game is still going on. This is completely a premature ejaculation when the match has not started. The fact that I speak against this premature ejaculation in Canada.
Today, I want to talk about the political masturbation where it happened for the Amazonian revolution. The political masturbation of your destiny and your life. For let Samuel Sako make him masturbate for your face. Make him masturbate for your mommy face. Make him masturbate for your sister face. Make him masturbate for your papa face. If you want to let these failed leaders make them masturbate for your face, screw up your future, screw up your destiny, screw all with because they fail and they want to be fucked up. They want to carry you, send them back to La République du Cameroon.
Sako Ikome, Bo Herbert, and the rest came under the bus. They were thrown under the bus for negotiating on behalf of the Ambazonia people and negotiating on the terms of the Switzerland Chocolate Party. This was clearly a wrong move, and it has ended prematurely. It died prematurely. One of those who heavily criticized this particular move was the Ambazonia Governing Council. One of those who heavily stood against this particular move was Tapang Ivo, Taanku. One of those who clearly stood against this particular move were the people of Ambazonia. And today, the same chameleon comes in a different skin. The had a so-called coalition for dialogue and negotiation. I will explain why this move is erroneous, logically dubious, and empirically flawed. Let me share my screen. I hope you can all see my screen. Can you see my screen? Yes, I believe everyone can see my screen. Look clearly at my screen. Let me see. Look clearly at my screen. The CDN, the Canadian Something for Dialogue, is committed to building sustainable peace in the Gulf of Guinea by ending the war in Cameroon. By ending the war in Cameroon, I repeat, by ending the war in Cameroon through internationally mediated negotiation without preconditions. Let me explain why this opener, this statement is completely ludicrous. They say the CDN is committed, not even committed to the independence of the people of Ambazonia as our primary objective, not negotiating between both parties and hearing their own stakes, but hear their own position from where they come from. They say the CDN is committed to sustainable peace in the Gulf of Guinea, That is exactly what Atanganji has been singing. By ending the war in Cameroon, the same thing Atanganji Dion Gote has been singing through internationally mediated negotiation without, this is the key word, without preconditions. And why without precondition? Because our condition is that we want independence. And here they are eliminating your own condition for independence. And they are clearly stating that with that, we must restore peace in Cameroon, not even Ambazonia. This is clear on their website. Google it. Just Google the CDN. The first thing that will shoot at your eye is this statement. Ambazonians, let me come back to myself and explain what I mean at this stage. If Celine Dion Gote on one hand, Atanganji on this hand, are standing for an end to the war in their country called Ambazonia, and here you come with a CDN, the Canadian National Dialogue for something that whatever it's called, something, one fake NGO, inviting A.Gov.C to be part of this Canadian chocolate party. I am bemused. I am embarrassed. I am completely perplexed at the mad rush, the premature move of the A.Gov.C towards this so-called Canadian National Dialogue for whatever. It is completely wrong and extremely condemnable. I will explain. Like the ADF, we are not ripe for dialogue and negotiation. We are not closer to being ripe. Not even if you tie us in the back full of ethylene without oxygen, we will ripe. No, this one we are not ripening. We are not completely ripe for any so-called dialogue and negotiation. And this is the same statement Dr. Ayabacho threw at Sako Ikome and his Swiss chocolate party goers in Switzerland. This is the same statement he threw at, and I was completely the hyperbolic tool for this statement. I was the one ramping up the statement with media hype and razzmatazz. If we were not ripe for dialogue and negotiation, we are not ripe for dialogue and negotiation. I don't understand exactly why this rush for dialogue caught by pseudo-Cameroonians, pseudo-Ambazonians, who hide behind these so-called bodies. I was a key member at the point of the creation of this Canadian or some Cameroon national whatever dialogue for negotiation and something. I was part, I knew exactly how it started. A few Cameroonians, I would call them Cameroonians, they were not Ambazonians, from Maryland, reached out to me stating this is their creation and this is exactly their objective. I sat fallow, I sat quiet, and I knew exactly the direction this was running to. Now it has come to the point where they think they are some kind of an authority speaking on behalf of the Cameroon people and the Ambazonian people. Let me explain something to you, Ambazonians. First, if you state that you're calling for a conference, I spoke with a couple of people before coming on air, and one thing they pointed at was that this was a conference. And even if it's a conference, who are the parties to this conference? Who is the primary stakeholder or the primary target of your conference? If the primary target are the people of Ambazonia, then bring all the parties and the relevant, I will use the word, relevant stakeholders in Ambazonia to that conference. Now, who is also the primary target? From all indication, Cameroon is the primary target. And this is happening in Canada, where you have a democracy, where you have a representative of the Cameroon people in Canada through the embassy. Yet we did not find the ambassador or any person who represented Cameroon at that so-called conference. Of course, because the organizers are all Cameroonians, and of course because it's clear from the website, which I will show to you here, from their website, it is clear that they stand for sustainable in Cameroon's Gulf of Guinea, and they stand for the ending of the war in Cameroon. That means they don't even care about, look at this, clearly is an opener. I don't need to be a magician to tell you exactly what is happening. This is an opener. This is an open statement. They are standing for an end to the war in Cameroon. Not even for your so-called Ambazonia. You don't even see it in their opening statement. This, Google it on your phone. You can drop off right now this live broadcast and watch it on your phone, Ambazonians. And so they come to tell you that there's a war going on in Cameroon and we have to end the war. Meaning that they know that you are part of Cameroon and you accept. What is the AFGOC doing in Canada? Why the waste of resources? Tell me an honest opinion, an honest dialogue and debate. What is the AFGOC doing in Canada? What are they doing? They were supposed to be on ground zero, like Sheikh Kavi War Milim is always on ground zero. They were supposed to be on ground zero. What is the AFGOC doing in Canada? It's not ripe. It is not the appropriate moment for us to sit and dialogue with whosoever, even among ourselves. It is not. Even among ourselves, that there is some division right now. This is not the right time to sit with Sako and dialogue. No. Our house is not internally clean, but we are going outside to go and dialogue with people who don't even matter, who are irrelevant to our revolution. Is it because they are with the white skin? Or is it because they studied in Western countries? We also studied in Western countries. Why don't we believe in our own selves? And why don't we think we can make it without them? Okay, let's sit and dialogue. And so what? I mean, what is going to come out from it? Cameroon is not present. You're the one who is present. What is going to come out from it? Because it's a white man. Oh, professor of Ottawa University. We are also professors elsewhere. Why don't we Africans believe in ourselves? There is no difference between Switzerland or Switzerland's conference and Canada or Canadian conference. There is none. There is completely none. I see some people throwing insults at Bo Herbert, throwing insults at this, throwing insults at this. Who are they speaking for? Who are they? Look, there is so much division happening right now in the Ambazonian revolution that we have to start focusing on our own selves. Let me repeat. There is so much division. These divisive diasporan Ambazonians that we have to start focusing on our own selves. We have to arm our armies first to the teeth. Can you clearly tell me if all groups on ground zero are heavily armed? I mean, heavily armed. Cameroon that is heavily armed is not even part of the so-called conference. Yet, Ambazonians are rushing, running behind Canada with empty hands. Heavily armed is not even part of the Canadian conference. Talk less of the Swiss conference that has been rolling for more than 2 months, for 2 years. Cameroon was not even part of it because Cameroon is not blinking. But we Ambazonians, we are the ones blinking. Each time they wave at us, we blink. Each time they wave, we blink. Stupid. Completely stupid. What are we afraid of? Are we afraid because Facebook labeled us terrorists? Who is Facebook? Facebook is a non-state actor. Irrelevant to the point where it even changes its name to Meta. A very irrelevant structure. Facebook, some digital platform, I don't know how to substantiate it. calling you a terrorist and you're panicking. Maybe that's why you're rushing to Canada to prove a point that terrorists do negotiate. No, don't blink. Don't blink. If you call yourself a fighter, be ready to fight and die for that cause, for the children and for your children to benefit. My children have not been described a terrorist. I am the one who has been described by Cameroon government a terrorist. I don't care. And by Facebook maybe a terrorist. I don't really care. A non-state actor calling another non-state actor a terrorist group, and you're panicking. This is ludicrous. I expect the AGOVC to tender an apology for the people of Ambazonia. It is a wrong move. It is completely a wrong move. If, for example, Sako was part of that Canadian conference, everyone will say, oh, Sako don't think money, Sako not sit man, Sako not this. Now is the AGOVC. What should we say? Should I come and say, oh, no, it's a good thing? No, when it doesn't sound right in Tapang's ear, it is not right. If it doesn't sound right in my ear, it is not. I do not play politics, and I don't play politics. You either like me or you hate me. I don't really care. I don't give a damn. All of us are identifying ourselves as Anglophones and not as political parties. The moment we will start identifying ourselves as political parties, we will fail. Believe me, we will fail. The moment we will start identifying ourselves as independence or federation, we will fail. So for now, keep all that thing, political parties, federation, independence. Let us unite as Anglophones. Let us unite as Anglophones. Don't use things like, you must come to independence, you must come to federation, you must come to this. No, no. Unite as Anglophones. That is what is making us to win. That is what is making us to win so far very strong, because we have identified ourselves as Anglophones and not as political parties. And that is why even Chiruma Bakari cannot even openly say that, oh no, it's an SCNC struggle, or it's a CPDM struggle, or it's an SDF struggle. He cannot openly say that. He knows that we are united as Anglophones. The moment you would identify as a political party, you will fail. Believe me, this is a strategy. Believe me, the moment you will identify as a political party or as independent or as federation, you will fail. We should keep all those little things aside. Focus on the main goal, which is we identify as Anglophones to get everybody in the circle. Once we get everybody in the circle, we move towards the dialogue table with the two options. It is not so heavy. You move towards the dialogue table with the two options. Once you arrive at the dialogue table, we will discuss. And it will be a very high level discussion. High level. Very high level. We need power alternation to come to Anglophones as well. If you are a federalist, we need power alternation to come to Anglophones as well. If you are an independent, we need secession, immediate independence. If you're a federalist, we need power alternation in that federation. So that once the Anglophones have power, we could easily ask for independence without any bloodshed. Once the Anglophones have power, we have the military control, we have the international affairs control, and we can easily ask for independence without any bloodshed, without any. At this moment, if you're asking for independence, the risks are so high. Because if it was in the 1960s, when countries were not so open to diplomatic missions, when the Vienna Conventions on diplomatic practices were not open in 1961, when the Vienna Conventions on consular practices only came in 1963, if it was in that system, it could have been very dangerous for you as a citizen to even leave to another country. Right now, just to get a visa to Dubai is 15 years. 15, they give you 15-year visa. So do you think would somebody risk his life to fight a war in Cameroon at this stage when he knows that he can easily travel for a better life abroad or out of the country? Just raise a few hundreds of thousands and you're out of the country? Exactly. So the risks are so high. But we want independence. But we want federation, as some people will say. So how do you get about it? Look for the best possible channel. Pressure, put pressure on that wound. Once you pressure and you have even a federation, you have power alternation deal in that agreement. Power comes to the Anglophones. Then the Anglophones have the military and the international affairs. Bia is making that his mouth now because he has the military and international affairs. If we too have that, we will speak and we will bite and we can do anything. We can even ask for the independence. That is the secret. Very peaceful, very straightforward. Don't be brute. Be very peaceful. Be very nice to everybody. Be peaceful. Just don't. We are winning this strategy with peace, not with violence. Because with violence, we will fail the very next day, and we will lose our legitimacy. The word is on us because we are peaceful. It's like you are battering a woman, you are beating a woman who is not doing anything to you. Passerbys are very sympathetic with that woman and not with you. So you get it. But if the woman is so aggressive, people will hardly sympathize with you. So at the end of the day, please, I'm just begging on one thing. We should identify as Anglophones. We should not identify as Bamendas. We should not identify as Southwesterners. We should not identify as political parties. We should not identify as federalists or independents. We should not identify as anything. We should identify first as Anglophones, and only as Anglophones. Then we have the two options, federalism or independence, on the dialogue table. Full stop. Seek ye first federalism and independence, and all good things like roads, hospitals, good schools, jobs, after schools, and the rest will be added unto you. Seek ye first federalism.
Should they give us federation? Or we should go there, negotiate for federation, so that if they give us federation, if they agree for federation, we can then take it, and then in another 5 years, we'll build up our army and cut off from them. I think if they agree on federation, we should take it, and then with time, we'll cut off. And so that is it. That's what is happening in La République du Cameroon. They are tapping Monsieur Ngo to become vice president of that country. Again, let your eyes be open out there. Let your eyes be open out there. What they are planning, we will very soon discover it.
All right, Princess, if you know all that, then Princess, if you know all that, then you should stop talking about federation. Look, this is one of the things bringing us apart. Unite as Anglophones and not as federation. Unite as Anglophones and not as independence. We should unite. You are watching me here because I speak in English. And unite. The power of this struggle is Anglophone oneness. Is the Anglophone oneness. It's not whether you stand on the federalist scale or you stand on the independent scale. Because even in a pure democracy, even in what we call direct democracy, there can never be 100% votes. People will always have their own ideology. So do you want to keep those people aside? Those people who are contributing hugely to this struggle? Not now. At minimum, everybody wants freedom. At least, even if you bring the best Anglophones or the most crooked Anglophones, they want freedom somehow. So at minimum, everybody wants freedom. But at maximum, they have their own preferences for freedom. So let us start from that minimum scale and move towards that change. When you arrive that stage, let me tell you for a fact, the people who want federation also want independence. This is a fact. The people who want federation want it at minimum. At maximum, they want independence. If you go to that dialogue table or whatever, and you have the independence, they'll be so happy, because they want freedom at a minimum scale. They want freedom. At least they want freedom. No Anglophone I've met says he doesn't want freedom. All say they want freedom. But now it is the matter of choices. You cannot force people to choose, to say, I know you must get this. No. So unite, get the common hook. That is the strategy. Get the common hook. Since day one, I've been saying this. We should unite as Anglophones, and not whether you stand on SDF scale or CPDM or whatever. You get it? What I'm doing, I'm questioning Bia why there is no dialogue. That is freedom of expression. Will you arrest me for doing that? I'm a citizen. I pay my taxes. I'm a Cameroonian. I'm not an American. I'm not a Belgian. I'm not a Chinese. I am a Cameroonian. I'm taxpayer.